What's good, y'all? It's your boy the Virtual Gangster, and I'm back with another quick video. Did you recently buy Bonelab for your PC VR headset? Well, I got one simple tip, one quick tip that's gonna help you boost your performance without sacrificing your graphical quality too intensely. So without further ado, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and a subscription. It really goes a long way. Let's get right into the video. Hey, hold on now, hold on. Back up, hold on. Hey, you always doing this. I thought we talked about this. Anyways, let's get right into the video. So when it comes to gaming, I'm the type of person that prefers performance over graphical quality. I would much rather play a game that's more fluid than it does look graphically appealing. So when I bought Bonelab, I essentially just loaded up the game with the default settings. I used the Oculus Link recommended render resolution. And in Bonelab, the default graphical preset is high. So what I noticed is that there was a lot of inconsistencies in my frame rates. I saw a lot of drop frames and a lot of stuttering during the gameplay, and that to me is unacceptable. So I set out on a quest to figure out the best settings for my setup. After all, Nvidia does say frames wins games. So for my setup, I have a 2080 Super. So the recommended graphics cards for Bonelab is a 1080 or a 2060 Super or greater. So I figured I had enough room to play the game comfortably. So what I did was I started researching and tweaking my graphics settings to see what the best possible setup for me was. After a bit of research, I found that changing the graphical presets in Bonelab from high to performance would yield the best gaming experience for me. I mean, if I'm being honest, I really don't notice that much of a graphical hit from changing those settings. So what I'm going to do in this video is just essentially run the game at the high preset and go into the analytics of my system performance. And I'm going to track that using Nvidia. For most of y'all, this should be the end of the video. In summary, just change your graphical preset from high to performance, and you should see a more consistent frame rate and an increased efficiency in your graphics card's utilization. But for those of you who want to stick around for the analytics of it all, there's a couple things we need to establish first. So this is the basis of my analysis. I track my system performance while playing on two different graphical presets in Bonelab, high and performance mode. And I did so while playing in two different areas of the game, Tech Trials and Sandbox. I did this to vary the levels of graphical stress that my laptop saw. And for a bit of transparency, while I was tracking my system performance in Sandbox mode, I was also recording some gameplay footage. Additionally, I just used the render resolution that Oculus recommended to maintain 90 Hertz. So let's get into the analysis. So NVIDIA Performance Monitoring tracks a bunch of system metrics and outputs those numbers into Excel spreadsheets. Here I have some Python code that I wrote that takes that information, parses it, organizes it, and translates it into a visual so we can make sense of the data that we were collecting. So moving on to the Sandbox area. So I noticed an interesting trend in my graphics card utilization and frames when in that area. It probably has to do with the fact that I spawned 50 Fords on both graphical presets and then murked them like it was Modern Warfare 2.
Remember, no rushing.
As you can see, during the period of equal frames per second on both graphical presets, that was right around the time that I was spawning all those Fords. As I cleaned up those Fords, you can see that the red trend shot back up, indicating that the scene was less visually demanding and allowed the FPS to return to baseline, which was right around 90 frames per second. So next up, we have my performance in the Tech Trials area. As you can see, as the gameplay progressed, you can see that the red trend was displaying a more steady trend, which indicates a more stable frame rate. And you remember what Nvidia said, so I ain't even gotta repeat it. But the blue trend was the high preset, and you can see all these dips. So those indicate frame drops. So that leads to visual stuttering and a less steady gameplay. Moving over to graphics card utilization. So graphics card utilization is a measure of how much resources your graphics card is dedicating to rendering the image on your screen. So essentially, the lower the utilization, the more efficient your graphics card is at rendering that particular image. So you can see at the high preset, my graphics card utilization was right around 98%. But on the performance preset, mine was right around 60%. Now this is especially useful if you want to do other tasks like record a video or stream gameplay while playing Bonelab. So at the end of the day, I pretty much got a 40% boost in my graphics card efficiency. Now granted, the image rendered on the screen was not the same during the two graphical presets, but for me personally, the graphics on the performance preset is just fine. So that brings us to the end of the video. If you want to see more videos like these, make sure to drop a like and a comment. It really helps with the engagement to push this video out to the appropriate audience. And also, if you want to see more virtual reality related content, make sure to drop a subscription. I'll be dropping more Bonelab and Contractors gameplay, as those are the two major games that I've been playing these past couple of days. It's been your boy, the Virtual Gangster. Appreciate y'all for tuning into the video. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.